Racism. The belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another, and that a person's social and moral traits are predetermined by his or her inborn biological characteristics. Equality. The state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. Now, oddly enough, those two definitions contradict. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom states that every individual is equal before and under the law, and has the right to the equal protection and equal benefit of the law without discrimination based on race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability. So then why, living in the 21st century, does racism still exist in Canada? People were categorized or racialized into specific categories based on traits such as skin color or hair texture. However, recent studies have shown that all humans have 99.9% of the same genetic material, which means, statistically speaking, that we are all the same in more ways than we are different. Unfortunately, people weren't always aware of this and discriminated those who did no harm simply because of stereotypes. The idea of racism grew and grew as limitations were set in place. For example, Indians couldn't immigrate until 1920, and they had to attend residential schools. Could you imagine being sent to a school millions of miles away from your home and family, where you are prohibited to speak your own language, practice your own religion, and you are abused emotionally, physically, and sexually, all because of your race? Living in Canada in the early 1900s was a nightmare for those who weren't white, and for those who were, most likely developed a disease called xenophobia. This is defined as the intense or irrational dislike or fear of people from other countries. As many people were immigrating to Canada at this time, it wasn't uncommon for people to have this fear. The result of this feeling led to several devastating events, such as the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. Powerful ideas and practices such as these arose to the influence of other similar events in other parts of the world, such as the Japanese internment camps in Canada. During this time, the Japanese were tortured, and almost all of their belongings were taken from them, including their homes, clothes, and even their children and families. They were expected to work long, hard hours, essentially until their death, due to starvation, dehydration, and emotional traumatization. It is extremely unfair to be treated like the dirt under one's shoes and to be considered the moldy apple of the bunch. However, racism is slowly starting to change in a more positive direction. But only 55% of Canadians are satisfied that we have overcame racism. That number is not high enough. You shouldn't have to feel worthless, ashamed, defeated, all because of a biological characteristic that you have no control over. It doesn't define you, so don't give others the opportunity to let it. Help our society by advocating for yourself and for those around you so that we can finally put an end to racism in Canada.